Paul Walker's legacy is etched not just in the adrenaline-fueled chases of the Fast and Furious saga, but in the quiet, profound love he poured into fatherhood. Taken too soon at 40 in a tragic car accident on November 30, 2013, the actor left behind a body of work that redefined action cinema, blue-eyed intensity behind the wheel, a grin that disarmed villains and fans alike. Yet, for those closest to him, his greatest role was as dad to Meadow Walker, the only child he shared with ex-girlfriend Rebecca Soteros. Born in 1998, Meadow was just 15 when grief shattered their world, a teenage girl thrust into a spotlight she never sought. In the decade since, as she's blossomed into a poised model and activist at 25, the Walker family holds tight to the unbreakable thread connecting father and daughter. It's a bond that transcends loss, manifesting in signs from the beyond, shared passions, and a quiet pride that echoes through holidays, premieres and everyday miracles. Ahead of what would have been Paul's 50th birthday in 2023, his brother Cody Walker shared intimate reflections, painting a portrait of a man whose heart beat fiercest for his baby girl. Paul's devotion was legendary, a counterpoint to the Hollywood hustle that often pulled him away. Cody, the youngest of the 4 Walker brothers and now a father of 3 himself, including little Paul Barrett Bear Walker, born in 2021, remembers it vividly. At Fuel Fest Mid-Atlantic, a high-octane event in Millville, New Jersey, part of the motorsports tour Cody co-founded to support Reach Out Worldwide, the nonprofit Paul launched in 2010 for disaster relief, he paused amid revving engines and tire smoke to honor his sibling. That was his pride and joy, Cody said, voice thick with emotion, the sun dipping low over the track. Paul wasn't the type for grand gestures. His love showed in the small, steadfast ways, tucking Meadow in after bedtime stories, teaching her to surf on California's sun-kissed waves, or patiently untangling her fishing line during family outings to Wyoming's serene lakes. Guilt shadowed him, though, born from the Fast franchise's global demands. Endless shoots in exotic locales, press junkets that blurred into marathons. He had a lot of guilt for not always being there, Cody admitted. It fueled Paul's ambivalence toward the industry. He admired colleagues like Vin Diesel, his on-screen brother turned real-life confidant, but resented how reels stole time from home videos. Meadow, with her father's striking features, those ocean blue eyes, that effortless smile, grew up in a bubble of normalcy amid the glamour. Paul shielded her fiercely, enrolling her in private schools in Hawaii and Santa Barbara, where palm trees whispered secrets and the ocean's rhythm lulled her to sleep. He was her first teacher in adventure, snorkeling coral reefs teeming with parrotfish, hiking redwood trails where ancient giants dwarfed their footsteps, or building sandcastles that withstood incoming tides. He loved being a dad, Cody reflected, the words carrying the weight of lost chances. Paul's parenting philosophy was simple: presence over presence, laughter over lectures. He'd scoop her onto his shoulders for impromptu piggyback races, his laughter booming like thunder, or sit cross-legged on the floor assembling Lego cities inspired by Tokyo Drift's neon sprawl. These weren't photo ops. They were sacred, the glue holding his bifurcated life together. When fame intruded, paparazzi lurking outside school gates or fans mobbing beach picnics, Paul's jaw would set, his arm a protective barrier. Only what's best for her, he'd say, a mantra etched in family lore. The accident, a Porsche Carrera GT spinning out on a Valencia street, flames claiming Paul and friend Roger Rodas, ripped that world asunder. Meadow, stateside for a visit, learned the news in a haze of unreality, the ground tilting beneath her. In the raw aftermath, as headlines screamed and helicopters buzzed overhead, it was family that anchored her. Paul's brothers, Caleb, Cody, and the late Caleb's twin closeness, stepping in as surrogate dads, aunts and uncles weaving a safety net. Rebecca, too, returned from Hawaii to co-parent through the fog. Grief's first waves were merciless. Empty chair at Thanksgiving, silent passenger seat on drives to soccer practice. But Paul's spirit, stubborn as his on-track tenacity, refused erasure. Meadow channeled it into resilience, founding the Paul Walker Foundation in 2015 to aid marine conservation. His passion for ocean guardians like sharks and sea turtles now her crusade. At 18, she dove into modeling, strutting Paris Fashion Week for Givenchy in 2021, her lithe frame draped in couture that echoed Paul's effortless cool. Campaigns for Tiffany & Company eyewear followed, her gaze piercing the lens with a poise that whispered of inherited grace. She's crushing it, Cody beamed at Fuel Fest, the pride paternal. Paul would be so proud. Signs from Paul became Meadow's compass, subtle synchronicities that blurred the veil. 4 and 7 are my dad's favorite numbers, she confided at the Rome premiere of Fast X in May 2023, the the Colosseum's ancient stones a fitting backdrop for legacy. Dressed in a sleek black gown, hair cascading like sunlight on waves, she spoke of doubts assuaged by digital clocks flashing 447, license plates bearing 74, or $47 tabs at coffee shops. Whenever I'm arguing or unsure, I start seeing them everywhere, she said, a soft wonder in her voice. It's him. These weren't coincidences but conversations, Paul's way of whispering, I'm here. On Father's Day, her Instagram tribute, a carousel of faded Polaroids, toddler Meadow on his bike, teen her at prom, his arms slung casual, tugged heartstrings worldwide. Happy Father's Day to my guardian angel, she wrote, the words a lifeline. Thank you for your love, guidance, and for truly being the most incredible dad and my best friend. I miss you every day, my sunshine. I love you. Comments flooded. Tributes from fans who'd grown up quoting his lines, condolences laced with awe at her strength. The Fast family that chosen kin forged in stunt smoke and script reads, enveloped her like a second skin. Vin Diesel, Godfather and the franchise's beating heart, walked her down the aisle in 2021 at a starlit beach ceremony in the Dominican Republic. Meadow radiant in lace as she wed Louis Thornton Allen. They've since parted amicably, a private chapter closed gently. Paul's smiling, Vin assured on the Fast X carpet, his gravelly timbre steady. Jordana Brewster, whose Mia Toretto shared quiet domestics with Paul's Brian O'Connor, watched Meadow's cameo, a fleeting bar scene with misty eyes. She has so much grace, Brewster said, carries his legacy beautifully. At the premiere, Meadow mingled amid the roar. Diesel's bear hugs, Tyrese Gibson's jokes, Ludacris's toasts. It brings out the happiness, she shared, the Eternal City's fountains bubbling like champagne. He'd be amazed. Acting beckons, she's dipped toes with that Fast X nod, but modeling holds her heart now, runway's a stage for self-expression, each step a nod to Paul's free-spirited stride. Cody's Fuel Fest chat peeled back layers. Paul's disdain for Hollywood's underbelly stemmed from fatherly pangs, not ego.